Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Around podcast. I am your host, Kyle Clarker, K. Clark KO, and hello, Stomach Acid. Thank you for joining me. We're going to have a guest that is going to be on shortly. He is a former WWE tag team champion, a former Ring of Honor tag team champion, and the current SWE heavyweight champion. And he's been he's mostly debuted in WWE under the name Charlie Haas. He used to wrestle with I think his younger brother. I don't know, his brother. They both got a developmental contract, him and Russ both, and they both shined in the tag team division and became tag team champions at one point in Memphis Championship Wrestling. And well, in 2001, Russ he suddenly suffered a heart attack and passed away 2 months later. In tribute, Charlie Haas changed his name to RC Haas in honor of his brother, and wrestled under the name until he got called up to the main roster in late 2002, and teamed up with Shelton Benjamin to create the Team Angle, or would later become the world's greatest tag team. And Charlie Haas basically shined from there. Won the WWE Tag Team Championships 3 times, twice with Shelton Benjamin, once with Rico. I think that was a short stint tag team that they had. And from there, they basically just went from brand to brand to brand. He got SmackDown, Raw, Velocity, Sunday Night Heat, Jacked, and even the ECW brand. And he actually was on 3 WrestleManias: WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 20, and WrestleMania 21. He started out his career in WWE in 2002 when he debuted on SmackDown with Shelton Benjamin to form Team Angle. They teamed with Angle for a little while and later turned on him and they were dubbed the world's greatest tag team. And Shelton Benjamin was later drafted to Raw, and Charlie Haas later on went on the same brand, SmackDown, for a little while, and I guess went to Raw eventually, and that's where he got with some type of gimmicks, all short skirt gimmicks, impersonating wrestlers, other more famous professional wrestlers. MVP, Montavious Porter, most valuable Charlie. Most valuable Charlie. Haas Hogan, or imitating a Hulk Hogan, John Cena, John Cena, I think. Charles Bradshaw Layfield? CBL, or is it JCL? John Charles Layfield. And Haas with Glamazon, Beth Phoenix, and which he won a Slammys for that. And he went was in 2002 to all the way got released somewhere in 2005, and came back in 2006, and I think he reunited with Shelton Benjamin a short while after. And Shelton Benjamin, they reunited, and they continued the tag team even beyond WWE, Ring of Honor, and Charlie Haas really wasn't really the same without Shelton Benjamin by his side. So Shelton Benjamin's doing good for himself. Well, he was in the hurt business, and then the hurt business was dropped for some reason. He basically I think was a jobber. It's like kind of a mid-carder. I'm not going to say completely a jobber, but I think a mid-carder. Charlie Haas was I think it's a tag team specialist. He's currently the SWE heavyweight champion. Won that in June of this year. And he still holds this to this day. Recently, there was an incident where a fan attacked Charlie Haas, got in an altercation with him, and Charlie called the fan out, and it didn't really go out so well. He cut a shoot promo on him about, not how people are not supposed to get in the ring when the performers are the in-ring talent are performing for the audience to see. Honestly, it's kind of stupid, really. Meanwhile, later, I think he retired at some point to have some like nutritional brand. I think tried to go down the nutritional route. I'm not 100%, but I think that's what I've heard. He got back into wrestling, I think recently. I think he changed his look. I saw him had a bald look for a little bit, and then I think he has his current look, what he had in WWE. But I don't know. I could verify with the man himself, but gonna wait for him now as I'm talking about his history. So throughout the times that he was in wrestling, he got just all the times that he was been in WWE. He signed a developmental contract in 2000, and he was called up to the main roster about 2 years later, like really end of 2002. I think that was the last SmackDown in 2002. But anyways, Charlie Haas hasn't really done anything other than the tag team titles. Honestly, they could have done a singles career around him and made him win at least one mid-card title. I wouldn't say go so far to be the main event title, but if they do that, that's good. That's good for him. But they didn't do that. Charlie Haas shared the ring, shared the locker room with a lot of people that I could name right now. We got Chris Jericho, Rico, Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, JBL, Montel Vontavious Porter, CM Punk, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Goldberg for a brief period, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. Maybe. I don't know if he actually met The Rock. But I think he was wrestling on Raw at the time, The Rock. But anyway, listing off more people. What's his name? Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Lashley, and Kevin Thorne. I don't think and a couple of ECW legends like I think Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, Rhino, maybe even the McMahons at some point. I don't know if he actually gotten to fight the McMahons or Shane McMahon or Vince, but well, it's a real long tenure that he had. It's a 2000 to early 2010. He had his last couple matches, and his WWE career, at least, was kind of memorable from, I think it's most memorable when he teamed with Shelton Benjamin at the beginning of his career. Not the all those short stint gimmicks of the impersonation gimmick. Impersonating a lot of wrestlers. They've done that with Big Show before. And he still became one of the biggest names in sports entertainment. But Charlie Haas didn't really have the same effect. No offense to Charlie himself. So explaining all that, Shelton Benjamin, on the other hand, Shelton Benjamin went on to become, I believe, a United States champion, an Intercontinental champion, and besides the tag team champion, and I think he recently won the tag team titles last year, I believe, or was it this year? Which was Cedric Alexander, the Raw tag team champions, which was good for Shelton Benjamin. But I mean, Shelton Benjamin is not really doing anything, just competing in battle royals. That's like the mid-card treatment, undercard treatment, being put in a battle royal, and hopefully they will memorize you. Honestly, Shelton Benjamin is a good athlete. He may be in his 40s now, so is Charlie, but doesn't mean that he still has a lot to offer in the ring. Charlie Haas actually I would say he would be a legend status if he returned to WWE, like MVP did, and Shelton. MVP and Shelton were legends. Are legends, not Hall of Famers. Randy Orton's a legend. He's not a Hall of Famer yet. John is, The Rock, Bobby Lashley, and Undertaker. Oh. And Charlie Haas actually competed in a few Royal Rumbles, 2003, 2004, and 2005. The 2005 one was really controversial because, Vince tore his quads on that. Vince tore his quads, both his quads, when he was really angrily mad at the ending. Well, Charlie Haas, I think there was an incident that kind of bumped into Jillian Hall, or Lillian, one of those two women. I think I've heard about it from WrestleMania, but I don't know if I think I saw the footage, but I'm not going to hold it against him. I think that might have been a mistake, might have been an accident. So I'm just trying to message him here and see if he's coming in eventually. It's around this time that he says he's good. See. I gave him the Zoom information, so I think he would be able to join either way, if it's either link or just putting in the password and the ID. Let me try this. All right. So how was everybody's day? Mine was good. I'm going to watch Extreme Rules after this and ask Charlie Haas his thoughts on Extreme Rules and who he thinks that is going to be, who's going to win and get put over. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go over the rules here. I'm going to go over the Extreme Rules predictions that I have. Liv Morgan and Carmella. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan they haven't done anything with. Liv Morgan has really suffered a lot after losing both of her tag partners. One in 2020 and one this year. Really? But Carmella has been losing a lot, which is a hard vid, but I think Liv Morgan's going to pull it off. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Even though Bliss is trying to get a resurgence going by defeating Eva Marie, I think they're trying to bury anything that is related to the Fiend. And Charlie, the doll of Charlotte. Charlotte might actually win. I think WWE's logic. But if Alexa Bliss wins, I'm happy for her. Just standing on her own 2 feet and becoming Raw Women's Champion. The Usos and the Street Profits. That's a hard bid. The Street Profits haven't been really used just against the Alpha Academy and the Dirty Dogs. And I think the Usos are going to retain. That would be the right thing to do. That would be WWE's logic. But here's the thing. I think something's going to happen. Roman Reigns and the Demon, Finn Balor. The Demon Finn is going to come out victorious and win the Universal title and face Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. The reason why I think this is because the Demon Finn Balor has never faced Brock Lesnar. Never. I'm stumbling over my words. Brock Lesnar might have made Finn Balor tap out via Kimura lock, but he never beat him via pinfall. He never beat him via pinfall on one-on-one. But the Demon, I think, is going to defeat Brock Lesnar if that does happen. But if Roman Reigns wins, it doesn't really surprise me. Just building this up. Being another Brock Lesnar reign. I think people do like the heel Reigns. I think it's because that's the saving part. That's the saving grace that SmackDown has over Raw. So, I'm going to say the Demon Finn. Just because of that assumption that they're going to do. But if WWE's logic is against me, then, well, that's that. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. That's an easy one. Becky Lynch. Why? Becky Lynch just came back at SummerSlam and beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. But I think there's going to be a longer match than 26 seconds. Way longer than that. I think maybe like 10 minutes they're going to put on a show. At least 10 minutes. I think Becky Lynch is going to lose the title at some point, but not now. Not Extreme Rules. Bianca Belair, I respected her. She was undefeated for a time. Beaten Sasha Banks, Bayley, Carmella, all those women in the women's division. But I think Bianca Belair is going to still be pushed strong in the mid card. But anything else, whatever WWE goes with, I'm fine with that. Damian Priest, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy. That was a hard one. This is a hard one to think of. Jeff Hardy has never won a championship in over a year. So has a lot of people. But Jeff Hardy could actually win. But I think I'll go with Damian Priest on this one. Because Damian was been pushed strongly in his U.S. title victory at, I think it was SummerSlam. He won. So he's gotten victories over Miz and Morrison. Speaking of which, Morrison hasn't been seen. Hasn't been seen after getting obliterated by Karrion Kross. Are they going to build to a Miz versus Morrison match at what is it? The draft? Are they going to split it up? Are they going to go to the draft? Or are they just going to split up on different brands? That's kind of confusing to think about. Because John Morrison is really talented. He rarely won in 2021, at least. He came back early last year, and made a mark. And I'm surprised they didn't win the tag team titles. I might be wrong, but I don't think they won the tag team titles. I think that Miz and Morrison are going to battle it out at Survivor Series. Or maybe a different match on the card at Extreme Rules, maybe on the pre-show or the kickoff. Or whatever they want to call the show before the show. Okay. All right, that's it. Force Central. Oh, okay. Force Central. He's saying, yes. This starts at Force Central. Start Force Central. All right. So he's in Texas. He's in a different state. My buddy Roxweller is in that state. And Ahmed Johnson, I think, is in that state, I believe. I could have told him beforehand, but I'm gonna talk during the up until 5. So luckily Extreme Rules doesn't start until 8. So anyway. All right. So more on WWE's part. I'm going to talk about the recent stuff that's happening in the wrestling business right now. Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano. Those two superstars are possibly leaving the company if they don't resign. Kevin Owens has been the Universal Champion, squashed to Goldberg, become the WWE Champion at one point, the Intercontinental Champion, the United States Champion. I don't think he's been a tag champion. I don't know if he has. If he has in NXT, then good. Then good for him. I don't think I remember it. So anyway, moving on. There's a couple. I'm going to address the stuff that has been happening lately in the past couple days. The plane ride from hell on that documentary on Dark Side of the Ring. Ric Flair, the limousine riding, jet flying, kid stealing, wheelie dealing, son of a gun. I think I said that right. Quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Ric Flair is under fire, under accusations on the plane ride from hell. Whatever happened on there. I think Ric Flair is kind of blacklisted from WWE now, since Flair decided to decided to yeet out of there because of different booking decisions that Vince or WWE management has with him. So, what do I think? Ric Flair has to face his accusations like a man. Has to face his accusations. I'm not saying anything against Ric Flair. I'm not endorsing anything that Ric Flair did. But Ric Flair has to face the charges. Has to get in court. I don't know where. Well, there's a flight attendant could have sued him. Could sue Ric Flair because indecent exposure on the plane. That's what he committed to a flight attendant, to a female flight attendant. And the same. So Tommy Dreamer was under fire recently for, kind of endorsing. I'm not saying anything against Tommy Dreamer either. I'm just saying what he's saying. He's basically saying Ric Flair is going to be the nature boy. He's going to be the nature boy. That's how he is. And I think he's been suspended from Impact Wrestling, I believe. I don't think so. I don't think so. I believe that WWE, I think they're going to I don't think they're going to blacklist, but I think they're going to remove stuff that was Ric Flair, like they did with Chris Benoit. But I think Alberto Del Rio, the same accusations with sexual harassment. I don't think I can even say that on YouTube. But this is streamed on Twitter as well. But I can address this. Alberto Del Rio, I don't think he's coming back from WWE. Ric Flair, nope. Honestly, with this allegations coming out 20 years later, I think it was heard of before the Dark Side of the Ring. But I mean, Ric Flair needs to get the and get going to court for those allegations against him. Either the charge is going to be dropped or just going to be sending getting some time in jail. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to predict it. I'm just going to say what could happen. But anyway, Tommy Dreamer could have the same result, but not going to say. Not going to say definitely. Tommy Dreamer, he's an ECW legend, ECW original, and he was a original on the ECW brand up until 2009, where he had to retire. I think from WWE's sake, up until 2015, where he came back with Rhino and the Dudley Boys, I believe. And I think that Tommy Dreamer is going to have something coming for him. I don't know. I'm not going to say what's going to happen. Just going to say something could come after he said that. A lot of backlash has been towards Tommy Dreamer and Ric Flair. Ric Flair because of the incident, and Tommy Dreamer kind of like people say he's endorsing what he's done. But I'm gonna leave it up to the WWE universe, the wrestling community, and the people that know those two personally. I'm gonna leave it up to them to think what to decide for their future. But I think that WWE needs to take some type of action against this. Might take a note of this and kind of consider something. Put something under advisement for both Ric Flair and Tommy Dreamer. Enough with me. Enough with that. Moving on possible matches. Maybe rematch between Tamina and Natalya versus Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley. Maybe a one-on-one match between Natalia and Rhea, or Nikki ASH and Tamina? Maybe. Also, got this discussion. I think Grand Metalik. Let me check here. I thought Grand Metalik was actually released from the company. Oh, he's not released from the company. He's wanting his release. Not I'm basically on the same ball game, but not basically out of the park with this one. But Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, they haven't been used. No tag team champions between them. There have been tag team championship shots. They put them against Lars Sullivan. They basically just had that match at Crown Jewel, I believe, and Lars Sullivan won by DQ. And then the next night on Raw, apparently Lars Sullivan got his revenge. And that was it. And then from the latest that I've seen, they've a couple of interactions with Riddle and a couple of other superstars that I cannot name. But Riddle's been doing good for himself. Riddle's been pushed good. Damien's been pushed real hard, real strong. Keith Lee, that's rough. It started out good, where he faced Randy Orton and beat him. And that was a big accomplishment by Keith Lee. Keith Lee was name dropped by Big E after Big E cashed in and won the WWE Championship. I don't know if Bobby Lashley is going to be involved again, but who knows? Big E also called Goldberg. That could be a match that we could see, but Goldberg had something with Lashley. Goldberg said, and I quote, I'm not going for his championship. I'm going for Bobby Lashley's soul. I think that's what he said in that context, because he attacked his son Gage. MVP's at least got some type of karma for that. Kayfabe karma. But I'm not going to say anything bad about MVP. Enough with that. Randy Orton, I hope MVP gets a full recovery from that RKO a week or two ago on Raw. I hope that he feels better. I have his prayers in mind. Kayfabe, I'm like into kayfabe, like rants, and then real life. MVP is a good guy. He had title matches, had titles, U.S. titles, had three U.S. title reigns. 2 of them in the Ruthless Aggression era, 1 of them in this era, I believe. If there was one in the start of the PG era, I would have missed that. But honestly, all those people that I mentioned are pretty good guys, except maybe Alberto. Well, even despite the allegations, they could possibly, like, in their in-ring ability, a lot of people respect. Like Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit has basically been the main blacklist in WWE. But I think that Chris Benoit, I think is going to be my favorite thing about Chris Benoit is definitely the time where he won the Royal Rumble and became the WWE champion the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania between him, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. But I'm not gonna say he's a good guy, or at least not like I'm not gonna endorse what he did. I'm gonna say in ring, he's talented, like Eddie Guerrero. Guerrero died like 16 years ago, and there was a guy that on people that say he's a B+ player. No, not even close. But enough with that. I already discussed that last time, a few times. So I'm gonna say that WWE needs to take note of their competition. Vince says AEW is not competition, isn't considered competition. Oh, hell yeah, it is. They got CM Punk. They got Bryan Danielson. They got Adam Cole. They got Ruby Soho, or known as Ruby Ryan. They got Paul White. They got Arn Anderson, Tony Schiavone, Dean Malenko. All those people that used to work in WWE. I don't think Tony Schiavone used to work in WWE, but I know he worked at WCW, which is a WWE property. But I think that WWE needs to learn from their past mistakes and actually follow up with good choices. Vince McMahon, he needs to be careful with NXT. If he ruins NXT like he did to the main roster, in my opinion, WWE is basically dead. NXT is the rising rising grace, the amazing grace that holds WWE. And NXT 2.0, it was good. The debut of Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, I believe, where he faced what is it? LA Knight. I was gonna say Eli Drake, but no, it's LA Knight. And that tag in the tag team match, I think I saw it was Casey Catanzaro, and I forgot the other woman. Ember Moon, I believe. I don't know. But I'm going to say this, that WWE needs to take note of their past mistakes and make good choices. Vince, I'm going to give you a chance. Honestly, I don't think Vince is ever going to see this. I don't think. He's just on Twitter kind of talk about WWE related stuff and doesn't talk about out of character stuff. So anyway, Vince, you need to step down at least a little bit for the main roster. Let Triple H run the main roster, and then you could run NXT. Don't tell Triple H, hey Hunter, I'm gonna run you out of NXT. I'm going to take over all the production with my buddy Bruce Pritchard. He understands me. You don't. And Triple H just be like, what am I gonna do? I hate myself right now. You basically screwed me over. You honestly don't know what you're doing on the main roster. Why would you become producer? I'm stumbling over my words again. I think that's definitely gonna be some type of problem. So I'm going to be a leash on you. I'm going to pedigree you. I'm not just gonna pedigree you. I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you. Triple H is basically furious at that, getting kicked out of NXT, and Vince is handling the main roster. The guy who rips up the scripts every single last minute, which is kind of confusing to say. Basically, every time, last minute, Vince McMahon rips up the script. Well, it's reported that it was. I'm not going to say it's true. It's reported. So, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar is a guy that doesn't really like people. Yeah. That has been stated, by, was it Derek Nykirk. He said, what is it? Brock doesn't really like anybody, but Doug Basham retorted and said that was a distinct agree because Doug Basham had more talks with Brock Lesnar than Derek did. But Ahmed Johnson actually said he wanted a dream match against Brock. I would like to see that. And I still would like to see that to this day. And why? Ahmed Johnson was like the powerhouse of the day. The Pearl, I forgot the name of it. It's a Pearl House powerhouse. But a lot of people, there's been reported that Tony Khan is even richer than Vince himself. Vince has like roughly $2 billion. I think $2 billion, $3 billion. But I think it's $4 billion maybe because of the Saudi shows. A lot of I get in the money. It's all about the money. That's I think Vince what cares about. He depends on Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton. What other guys that are on the main roster right now? Bobby Lashley. But I don't blame Vince for pushing Lashley. But it was great to see him be WWE champion for the first time in his career after he became a United States champion in 2006, I believe. And he's the only one. He beat everybody he came across. He won, except Vince McMahon. I think some type of technicality. And I think he won the ECW. He was the ECW champion. I'm not gonna say I watched the ECW December to Dismember pay-per-view. And they thought that I think CM Punk was gonna go over. They said that they wanted Punk to go over, but Bobby Lashley went over instead. But they really hated that. That's why the attendance was low. But the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-views were a banger. Well, to WWE standards. To ECW. Paul Heyman, I'm going to say he's a heel, which I hate, which is a good job because he's playing a good heel. It's like acting. If you can't be in the business if you do not know how to act. That's how you develop promo skills and basically perform heelish tactics that were in the script. Basically, like, I don't know, punching somebody and kicking somebody while they're down, doing their finisher multiple times over and over and over again, put them through a table, or jump off the ladder and just basically frog splash, just threw them through a table or whatever, heelish tactic. That's what Eddie Guerrero style did. That's what Chavo did. Chavo is in AEW now. Vicky Guerrero is in AEW. All former WWE talent, even Josh Matthews, is in AEW. Tony Schiavone's in AEW. Jim Ross is in AEW. Mark Henry, of all people. Mark Henry Andrade, or El Idolo. Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes. Those two that I mentioned are basically family to AEW. Cody being, I think, the executive vice president. All those guys are a mix of old guys and new guys and trying to mix it up a little bit. Like Chris Jericho and MJF. That is a good mix up there. I haven't seen AEW a ton, but I've seen a couple of Dynamites. They know how to take a show and pull it by the horns and just basically run with it. And Tony Khan cannot be stopped now. But something could be detrimental. Some things could be detrimental if they get a lot of WWE guys and not like have like a good pay raise, but not going to say anything against Tony Khan. But whatever he decides to do, he decides to do. So I'm going to say that Tony Khan, I hope that your company goes and has some type of war with WWE. You have over 1 million viewers on AEW Dynamite, which is great because of CM Punk, a guy that hasn't been in the ring for 7 years. That is a good choice to make, Tony Khan. I commend you for that. But Vince, on the other hand, I've been back in your company for a few years now. Looking through the history, you've had good television. Before 2020, you release guys because of budget cuts. I think you're just sometimes you're just saying that, budget cuts. But I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to respect your opinions, what you have done for the business. Your dad paved the way for you in the 80s, and you worked as a commentator. And you made a couple of guys basically be building up a lot of disdain for former WWE guys, WWF guys, and like Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Randy, and kayfabe. Some kayfabe, some real. Randy Savage wanted to become champion, wanted to wrestle again, but Vince was like, no, I'm gonna put you on commentary. I'm gonna let you rarely wrestle, and that was be a good show. I don't think it's actually good. I don't think it's good to throw that, but he was good on commentary. The times that I've seen. All right. I'm going to introduce my guest at this time. He is a former WWE Tag Team Champion. He is a former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, and he is the current SWE Heavyweight Champion. Welcome, Charlie Haas. Thank you for joining me.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Congrats on winning the SWE Heavyweight Champion. Couple
thanks. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Sorry for being a little late. So I'm on Central Time, so it's
Yeah, you're in Texas. Ahmed Johnson that I interviewed before was in Texas as well, so you're fine. It's good. How was the Indies treating you? The indie scene.
It's going good, man. We're it's great time to be a wrestler. There's a lot of good talent out there, and a lot of good people that open up and that are on me. It's really good. It's great, man. It's a great time to get in. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. The competition is really good, and so I look forward to every match I have, every opportunity.
Well, there's something that I think happened a month or two ago, where I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a guy basically just was like, wanted to have like some type of altercation with you, had an argument, you shot like some type of shoot promo on them. It's like, you're not supposed to enter the ring, and I'm superior. You're supposed to be in the audience. You don't play both. I honestly don't get why people still try to get in the ring, even still with COVID restrictions.
I don't even think it has anything to do with COVID. I just think that he just at the time, there was I'm doing my job as the heel, and I think at the time probably wanted to get in the ring and see if he could do it. If he he should sign the waiver and sign up.
Well, I guess that he would need a sign waiver if he wanted to actually fight you.
If Yeah, you would. You'd have to. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time, but on top of that, I've been an amateur wrestler for longer than I have been pro wrestling. I still coach it at a high level. Amateur wrestling. Not only am I in the muscle in the wrestling room, wrestling every day with my students or with the college, high school kids. So my amateur wrestling is still up to par. So I'm not worried about anybody in the ring. Because let's face it, 98% of all fights end up on the ground, and not everyone knows how to wrestle. So I doubt they're going to do what I take.
Well, that is true. That people basically get clocked when they try to enter the ring or go over the barricade and not sign a waiver or sign a contract with any independent promotion to face anybody. Well, moving on from that, when your early days in the business, when you used to team up with your brother Russ, when you signed like a developmental contract with WWE back in the early 2000s, you obtained tag team success with them, and you were doing good for yourself. What were your what was your feelings at the time when you signed that developmental deal with WWF at the time?
Oh yeah, well, it was the goal that we wanted. We started wrestling. Our goal was to be at the top of the food chain, but it was also to be the best. It was only to get to WWE and then to become the best tag team ever. And so we were very excited. We were excited for the opportunity. Angle was supposed to be Russ, myself, Shelton, Benjamin, and Kurt, and it didn't end up that way. So it didn't happen.
Well, moving on to that, when you were in the World's Greatest Tag Team stable or the Team Angle stable, that was before when you turned heel on Kurt Angle and then the World's Greatest Tag Team. When you and Shelton Benjamin were first paired, was there like a lot of history that you had a lot of respect for one another to team up to make your debut on SmackDown?
I never really met Shelton until we met like once or twice. WW and HWA, because HWA would go down and shoot their TV show out of the OVW. I met Shelton a couple times there, but it wasn't until after Russ passed away that we got to really know each other. And once we started working together, our work ethic and his goals were the same as mine. We just wanted to be the best we could be. So I was,
Whoa.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we were lucky to that we just gelled. We were lucky to have Arn Anderson, support us and back us and to put his stamp of approval on it.
So you and Shelton Benjamin actually went on to achieve tag team success, won the World Tag Team Championships twice, and at those two moments that when you won the tag team titles alongside Shelton, what was your honest emotion and reaction when you were going over the other team to take the tag titles?
Our goal to become the world's greatest tag team. Not only that, but then I was able to accomplish the goal that Russ and I set out that we couldn't achieve. So I felt like I was able to accomplish both for Russ and I and for Shelton and I, and for myself as well.
Well, that is a good achievement to have, to win the tag team titles and be top of the division. So you also after with Shelton Benjamin changing brands, you've formed a short tag team with Rico and won the tag team titles with him. Can you share the different history between the two of you and when you came to be? Oh. Oh. Wait. Is it?
Character, so it's kind of like that odd couple. It worked. We won the world title together, so it was. We accomplished that goal too.
Well, when you were talking, it kind of cut out, but kind of cut out a little bit when you were talking.
Okay, we went back to next. No, when Sean and I tagged, they put us together because of our amateur background. put Rico and I together, it was more of like a character development with his type of a character, mine, like two opposites. Yeah, it still came together to win the world championship. Like that. So it was fun. Both. I mean, I was thankful to have Rico and Shelton, both of them, my life tag champion.
Well, there's a couple of stuff that happened around your time when you were starting to getting into the WWF and the developmental promotions. There's one that came out recently, the Plane Ride from Hell, that you heard of around the time when you were in developmental, where I think you've heard where your buddy Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig basically tussled on the airplane, and a couple of other altercations happened. Well, and recently came out, your former coworker Ric Flair had like a lot of like controversy going against him, and I think it was a decent exposure at the time and on the Plane Ride from Hell. What if you were on the flight or you were heard about it at the time? What were your honest reactions about the Plane Ride from Hell?
Hey, I wasn't there. Whatever people say, it's. I mean, you'd have to talk to people there, so I can't give you a fair assessment on that because I don't know. I'm just going by with what you do. So, I mean, I'm not perfect on that. Brock and he got on Ric Flair. So, I mean, I really don't want to talk about that.
Okay. I respect that. So what is your like? You remember when Tough Enough was starting to become a thing back in the mid 2000s about to be, and there was that incident with Daniel Puder basically having a shoot Kimura on Kurt Angle, your former protege, former coworker Kurt Angle. When you saw that live, or like when you eventually saw the footage, what was your honest reaction about that shoot Kimura that was pulled on Kurt Angle at the time?
Kurt Angle should never broke up Team Angle. He should have let stay with us. I don't know, man. First shot in, and he get, the guy went two shots double. The guy put a Kimura. Keep your elbows in. Time, don't elbows out. You gotta watch out. That's what we always say in amateur wrestling. Elbows out. Watch out. Get caught.
All right. So what was when you were getting into the business and being contracted by WWE, and when you were out having your singles career, you've eventually gotten to this, like, what you remember, like the distorts different gimmicks that you like, impersonating other famous professional wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, JBL, John Cena, and MVP. What was what was the idea behind those impersonating gimmicks, and what was your honest opinion when you like heard about them?
John Laurinaitis had the character. It was his idea. And so I was like, you know what? They weren't doing anything with me on television at the time, so let's try it, man. Let's try it. Let's see how it works. And so I did to the best of my capability. And I wasn't going to go out there and dishonor the people that I was actually. I wasn't going to go out on that I was actually imitating. I wanted to honor them. So I wanted them to be. I wanted them to find using that flat.
So when you were first like knowing the ropes and like taking your first bumps of different types of moves, what was your like favorite? What's your moves that you are comfortable or uncomfortable taking, that you took at least like once and like you regret, like, I don't want to do that bump? Can we do something else?
The artists make your body. But the bumps that you would take that would shake your whole body, that would rattle your whole body, those are the ones that were really. And that neck was injured, or let's say it's when Drew McIntyre no-handed DDT broke my neck. That was probably that definitely. And it was probably when he broke my neck. And never to this day did that. Did you ever call me or ask how what? And hope one day see Drew. I really.
So moving on to the current day, you might have heard that tonight is Extreme Rules, and there's a lot of matches on that card that you might be interested in watching. If you had to make a prediction of like possibly who would go over in each match, what would your honest opinion? Who would go over and why?
I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know who is in the Extreme Rules. I've kind of not, I really haven't followed WWE. I know who the champions are. I kind of follow the Usos, and I follow Roman Reigns because of because I know their family quite well. But and I'm a fan of Rocks, but man, I really don't know what's going on. So also, I really enjoy watching the other federations. It's a breath of fresh air. I'd rather watch AEW. I'd rather watch MLW. I'd rather watch I'd rather watch Ring of Honor. I'd rather watch Wrestling Ultra. I mean, there's so many different promotions that are wrestlers.
So throughout the long tenure that you had with WWE, are you still on good relations with the McMahon family?
Sure, if we saw each other, we'd say hi. Last time. Yeah, not a.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm just not a. What do you call it? I'm just not a current fan of the WWE product right now. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are there, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of good. I do like that they did sign Stevenson.
Oh.
Not a lot. Big fan of his. What works out.
No. So, you know who? Basically, what you're telling me is like you know who the champions are. You follow Roman Reigns and the Usos, you basically followed known their family for a long time, and Brock's. So moving on from like AEW, what was your like honest reaction when CM Punk returned to in-ring action at All Out?
Well, I think it was great because it shook up the industry. The industry needs to be back. So you need absolutely.
Well, I guess you're pumped. You were pumped at that point when shook the industry as it is. He's the personality. So what was your like type of favorite matches that you were either like watching or that you were either a part of, or when you were growing up, what type of favorite matches that you remember was your kind of your favorite?
I think any of them that story, any actually. Of course, I love watching Edge. I love watching it's not about the cycle of moves. It's about the I'm not there to take every move or show you how to do a move. I mean, I'm there to tell the story, working moves.
So, well, I think, well, I'm going to tell you this. Well, you went on your side. Apparently, when you're talking, like on your side, kind of like cutting out most of the speech that you have. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I don't know if it's my side or if it's.
I mean, picture looks good. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have any other.
Oh, I guess. Okay. Guess we have to roll with the punches then. So throughout like the time that you were in WWE, ROH, or any other independent promotion that you're a part of now, is there any stories that come to mind that like you like to share with fellow coworkers?
Yeah, I think I love working with Ring of Honor. I think Joe Goff and Kerry Sulkin, who I would to work with both of them. I did great tag team division rocked. It really had a different style that I had to learn, and I'm always wanting to learn. And I had a good time with Ring of Honor. I had a great time, and so I'm be able to wrestle with those athletes like the Briscoes, Jay Lethal, and Kings Wrestling, and All Night Express, Kenny King. I was back now. Sounds like back. But anyways, to answer your question, I just think just to be able to go from WWE, Ring of Honor, to different style, learning to adapt to it, I think a great time.
I see. So you learned a lot more when you were in Ring of Honor and like how to adjust.
You're learning all the time when you're in different promotions. It's like you want to learn. You don't want to get to WWE and say, "Well, I'm at the top. I don't need to learn." No, and I learned the book. I was able to work with Michael, Ric Flair. I mean, you're always learning because you're learning from the best. But I mean, it's just, and I can fan it when I wrestle. You always learn. You always want to be a student of the game. When you quit learning,
You learn every time. I like it. So, if you had to debut for AEW, who would you like to face in your debut if it was up to you?
I'd go right for the top of the champion.
The champion.
Yeah.
I like it. So, who was your inspiration? Who was yours and Russ's inspiration to get into the ring and share the ring with fellow coworkers that you've grown up watching?
Like I said, growing up, we were big fans of the Steiner brothers, Road Warriors, Arn, Tully, the Four Horsemen. But Russ and I never got a chance to compete at a high level against like Edge or Christian Hardys or Guerreros. I mean, that was up to Shelton and I. But Russ and I guess we were able to compete against Umaga at the time, Uzi, or Matt Hanaway, Roman Reigns' brother. So we were competing against Chris Benoit one time. So that was actually that's probably the highest level that Russ and I were able to compete against. So.
All right, so if you had to, if there's any like dream opponents that could come to mind in your head, who would you like to face if you had the chance to? If it was up to you.
Now in the future or in the past? I'm sorry, what was the question again?
So if you had to pick a dream opponent that you would like to face, either in the past, present, or future, who would you like to face?
As a tag team, I would love to wrestle Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard with Shelton and I. Yeah. And then as an individual, man, I'd love to have wrestled and Ray the Crippler Stevens, Ray Stevens. I would have loved to have wrestled Jack Briscoe, Terry Funk. I would love to have wrestled him. Chris Adams, Gino Hernandez. The list could go on and on.
So the list is endless, but you could you could list off only a few. But this basically the future is bright for anybody that it doesn't matter what age you are.
Right.
Well, you can ask Terry Funk. He's been wrestling for like 50-ish years, like almost half a century. But so when you're not taking either independent bookings or like when you were doing at the time, either like past, present, or future, what would you like to do in your free time when you're not taking in bookings?
Kids, and some of my kids, and coach and my girlfriend, too. So
it's the family man. I like it. That's what the community is all about in the business. So the type of matches that you competed in throughout the careers in different promotions, what type of matches was your kind of like specialty that you liked them? Like, oh, I like the Extreme Rules matches, or I like type of hardcore matches, ladder matches, or any type of TLC match or whatever type of matches.
Any that came out of being injury free, TLC matches were dangerous, but they're fun, especially when you are not as injured as you thought you'd be. You're always up and up. The matches with the Guerreros were great. WrestleMania matches were great. I was just blessed and fortunate to be part of those matches, especially with a lot of great work as well.
Well, out of every match that you were in so far throughout your career, as a veteran, was there any like type of like the like WTF moments? Like, wait, why did you sell that? Why did you sell like no sell or oversell or whatever? Like, what type? Like, and something unexpected happened? Wait. Wait.
How I felt. And so, yeah, I wasn't overselling or I'm being, I was being facetious anyway. I was telling the story with my eyes and let the body just form around that story. So.
You were kind of cutting off, but
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay, man. It's this happens. That's the problem. I mean, technology is great, but it's just unfortunately, we have a bad connection. But
that's fine.
Yeah, I never tried. I just let my eyes tell the story, man. However I felt is the way I felt at the time I took that move, or I distributed a move to somebody. So.
Nothing really unusual. Just let your eyes tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, you're kicking the nuts, your eyes pop out of your head. So yeah, and then your face falls. Your face, falls on the eyes. So yeah.
What is your advice? I want to ask you something personal. Advice. I want to go into the wrestling business myself. What type of advice would you like to give me?
Well, it depends on what type of what you want to do in the wrestling business. What I think you should do is learn every aspect of it. Easy for a lot of people to say, "Hey, I know how to do this." But it's great when you got a guy that's a referee like 35 years and he thinks he can book. Man, unless you've been in the business or because you wrote something, doesn't mean you're a booker. I mean, you got to be in the ring. You got to know how it feels to get bumped around. I'm about just taking one bump. I'm talking about doing it for years and years and years, and being in different being in different story that bring out different parts of your character and to make you feel a different way. You got to rely on all the knowledge and all the experience you have in order to put that forward. If you want to become a booker, or if you want to become the writer, or the creative part of wrestling. So I think back in the way it used to be, the way AEW is doing it, and the way SWE is doing it now, like Kevin Sullivan's the guy that put stuff together, and he should be the best it's ever been. That's another guy I wish I would have worked. Kevin Sullivan. What a brilliant mind, great performer. I wish to God I would have worked with him. I have the chance to work with him. He's the booker now. He's the one, he's the one that's going out and making everything. He's telling you how you should feel, how you should do it. And you should listen to him because he's been Arn Anderson, Bully Blanchard. These are the guys you should be listening to. These are the guys, that are putting it together. I'm sorry, but, if you haven't been in the ring and you haven't wrestled in a lot of years, or then you know what, you shouldn't be telling other people how to wrestle and how to put an ending together. That's my opinion. And like I said, man, it's just one man's opinion.
Well, you can gain a lot of knowledge from some others' experience in the business. Like if somebody wants to be in the
management, be a manager, you should follow Jimmy Cornette. and you should learn about Paul Heyman, or you should follow the greatest managers. If you want to learn about production, then you should get involved with the production. But I mean, you should learn all aspects of it. But but I'm not really sure what your career path is or what you want to do. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just learn as much as you can about the business.
But much appreciated of your advice, sir, Mr. Haas. So you came from both two types of wrestling, pro wrestling and amateur wrestling. Can you tell me what type of what are the differences? What are the pros and cons of each?
The amateur wrestling is the hardest. You there?
Yep.
Amateur wrestling is the hardest sport, bar none. It's the Marines ball athletics. You're training yourself to be put in uncomfortable positions, and then you're training yourself to get out of them. The work by far is the hardest. What kind of sport would you cut weight, lose weight to punish yourself just to win a trophy or a national title or a world title? No other sport does that. No one wants to bulk up and get as big as they can. Wrestling and nothing. I mean, bar none. It's the foundation of all. It's the foundation for every MMA fight there. And amateur wrestling, the work ethic I learned there is what I put in towards pro wrestling. So I think I had a great foundation, a great foundation to lay upon, and help me get to my wrestling career and help me to achieve those goals.
So what you're saying about amateur wrestling, it's like a high worth ethic in amateur wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, because if you screw up, there's no one else out there to blame. I'm not blaming 11 other guys on the field. I'm not blaming 10 other guys or other guys in the court. It's you. You lost, and you didn't.
Yeah. Oh.
It's all on you, not upon. It's not based on anybody else but you.
That's why you basically sign a waiver in wrestling. It's all on you. Like if you take a move wrong, that's your fault.
Yeah. It's your fault, man.
So when you heard in the news, well, of course you said previously that you don't really watch up to date with WWE, but you like more the independents. You think you've heard this, like where Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard are like taking over the production for NXT?
I mean, that's about as much as I've heard. So I'm not really sure what. I don't know what. Yeah, I just heard they're taking it over, and I'm decent. I love watching. I do like watching NXT because I think it was a little bit different than WWE. Fans do. So I'm not sure what's going on. So I can't really answer that question as well.
All right. So I'm trying to look at my questions here. So the types of matches that you used to have, out of the peer, I'm going to list a couple of peers that you worked with in WWE and you had maybe like shared the locker room with, and basically honest opinions about them. Right. Joey Mercury.
Good. Joey, I knew Joey Mercury all the way back to the New York. Fucking love him. Eligible.
Brock Lesnar.
Amateur wrestler, national champion. His work ethic far alone, bar none, by the hardest. Where he best.
Montel Vontavious Porter.
MVP, man, like it's like he's left no stone unturned. He turned his life from and I mean he bettered himself, and he's an inspiration, man. He really is.
JBL.
Love. Yeah, one of my mentors, man. I love him.
The Undertaker.
Great dude, Mark. I never got a chance to be in the ring with him. I know him really well. We traveled the road together, and he helped us out, and he just taught us a lot about the history of help pass it down.
Rico. Is it? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, does it work? Is it?
It's freezing off. Yeah, I don't know. We have bad connection, but we might want to cut it short. And I don't want to.
So I only have like a couple more questions, and then we'll just we'll end. So we're gonna just get this here. Another just one more thing that happened during your run. The the murders. What your honest opinions about like the murder suicide of Chris Benoit?
I don't want to discuss that at all. But
okay.
I just out of respect for both families, I want to discuss.
Okay. What was your favorite brand to be a part of in WWE? When you were talking about
both brands. I like working with both brands. One was live, one was taped live. So you learned a lot on both.
All right. So the last question that I have for you is, who was the strongest and safest workers that you've been in the ring with that impressed you?
JBL, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Big Vistris, Big Bell.
All right. I guess that's all the questions I have.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for the bad connection. But hey, thanks very much for letting me be part of your podcast. I appreciate it.
Nope.
And I'm sorry. Sorry about this.
Nope.
I'm in a hotel right now, so I was up. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No problem, Charlie. It's internet. Thank
you. Thanks, Kyle. Take care. God bless.
You too. Well, that's Charlie Haas for you. He's a tag team specialist and a singles specialist, I might add. In a lot of history with Charlie Haas in the wrestling business. Anyway, thank you so much for being on, Charlie. Hope you do good in your future endeavors on the independent scene. And you hope you, despite your age, you hope you get to shine. So I think that is it. I follow Charlie Haas on follow Charlie Haas on Twitter at Charlie Haas. If there's any other social medias that I did not mention, I could just look them up or whatever. And what are those official? Is that just Twitter? So thank you so much, Charlie Haas. Hope you do good in your future endeavors, and hope that you could possibly win a couple more championships before you officially retire. And I mean that because Jeff Hardy is a guy that hasn't been really booked lately, even though he's being a legend. He was a 20+ year legend in the business since the early 90s, mid 90s. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. And thank you so much, Charlie Haas, for coming on and having the time of letting your presence be known here. And if you want to be up to date with Charlie Haas, anything Charlie Haas, follow his Twitter at Charlie Haas, and look in, and you could Google him, Haas with his Haas. And I hope you guys liked it. For the YouTube portion of the video, like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you would never miss any videos or streams or podcast episodes by me. And if on the YouTube, on the Twitter portion, if you're new here watching on Twitter, I would recommend you follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter and at Game Master Clark. And we'll hope to have more guests on. I think we're gonna have a couple more GTS guys on and ask their story. So all these questions that I've asked, I've just written down. I believe he answered all of them. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a good day. Hope Charlie Haas has a good day, the rest of his day. No problem, Charlie Haas, for the connection. And I hope it goes better from now on. Besides, enough of me rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching Wrestling Around episode 24, the Grail's Greatest Tag Team. And I'll see you guys in the next episode or in the next video on YouTube.